Naija and I'm your host Faith Mbakwe. Today we are going to be taking a food trip down to the famous city of Ibadan. It's actually the oldest city in Nigeria. So today we are going to be making a meal that is synonymous to the Ibadan people, which is Amala. Amala to bono feli with Gbegiri, Ewedu and the local buka stew. You get what I mean? So today's meal is going to be like 4 dishes in one because you have to have each meal side by side. So it's eaten together as a combo. So the ingredients for this meal are, we have some beans, we have our yam flour, which is also known as the Amala itself. We have 4 pieces of bell peppers, we have 4 pieces of chili peppers, which is also called shombo. We have 4 pieces of tomatoes, 2 onions, 3 pieces of scotch bonnet. In here we have iru or locust bean. We have some egusi already grinded. We have some crayfish, some Cameroon pepper just for extra spiciness. We have our salt. We have some seasoning cubes. Now we have our jute leaves or Ewedu leaves. This is a very nutritious leaf. It's a vegetable that you can also feed to your infants even as early as 5 months. So this goes well with anybody regardless of your age. Then the main protein for this is our goat meat, also known as ogunfe. Then we have some vegetable oil, we have some palm oil that has been bleached, and we have some palm oil that hasn't been bleached. Now we are going to dive into the production proper, and believe you me, you do not want to miss out on this. So to start, I'm going to boil my goat meat. I'm just going to bring this to a boil. So into a clean pot, I'm just going to add the goat meat. I'm going to season it with some onion. So I'm going to be using about half of this bowl. The other half will be used when we are making the sauce. So I'm just going to dice it in. As usual, you already know by now that I do not boil my goat meat or my meat with water. I allow it to cook on its own juice, thereby producing the stock I would need. If I need to add water a bit more later on, I just feel free to add as I desire. So I'm going to be seasoning the goat meat with some salt. Just going to be seasoning it with some salt and its seasoning cube. So while that is coming up, I'm going to start the preparation for the gbegiri. So to make my gbegiri, I need to wash the beans. So I need to wash these beans to remove the skin. So to make that easy for me, I'm just going to boil some water and have a little warm water to take off the skin even faster. That aside, what is your hack for washing beans fast? Just you can drop feedback so that I can know what your hack is. So I'm just going to boil a little water, then I'll proceed to washing my beans. So my own hack for washing my beans is that I just soak it in a little warm water for about 2 minutes. That assists the skins to come up easily. So by the time I run my hand through it, it takes me about 10 minutes to wash my beans. But you can also wash your beans with a blender, a food processor, whatever rocks your boat. Basically, we just need to take off the skin from the beans. So I'm going to leave that for a few. In the meantime, let me clean up this. So you need to check on the meat constantly because we're not cooking it with water, so it doesn't burn. So you can just stir intermediately. So this is mine. So you need to stir it immediately. I didn't add water, but some juice is already coming out. We're just going to use this. So my water is hot enough. I do not need it to be boiled. I just need it to be a little bit hot. So I'm just going to let this sit for about plus or minus 1 to 2 minutes. This is just to make the skin come up easily. See, it's not yet ready now. By the time it's ready, once I pick it up, it's getting easier. It's already getting easier, so I'm just going to leave it for a few minutes. Then I'll wash it off. Okay. This is it. I'm just going to use my fingers into it and run off the skin. I'm going to add a little water, it's still hot. And now work on it. If you want to do this even faster, you can just go ahead and use your blender. I'm a bit old-fashioned, so I'm just using my hands. While I'm getting water to rinse that, I'm just going to check on my meat. I think I would need to add water on it. So this is it. I've added a little water to it. Still cooking well. So I need this to tenderize. So with just a few cleaning sessions, I'm almost good to go. With just a few minutes, I'm almost good to go. I just need to thoroughly rinse it off and all the skins from this would be part of the shaft. So we're done washing our beans. Took us about 10 minutes, but we're done. Now I'm going to add water, enough to cook the beans. I'm just going to add enough to cover the beans. Then I'll bring this to a boil without adding any ingredients. So I'm just going to bring this to a boil. While that is cooking, I'm going to blend our peppers for the buka stew. We're done blending our pepper mix. This has more of peppers and less of tomatoes. So this will be the base for our buka stew. I'm going to take off the meat that has already cooked. Just take it all off. Put it into a bowl. So our goat meat is already cooked and it's really tender. Then into another bowl, I'm going to put my meat stock. So I'm just going to put this here. So we're going to pour our meat stock into another bowl. I'm going to use this for the buka stew. Now I'm going to dry the pot and I'm just going to dry the pot. While that is on fire, I'm going to cut half of the onion. I'm just going to slice it thinly. Because this recipe contains 3 different or 4 different dishes, I'm pressed for time, so I'm just going to be doing this with my hand. Else you can use a chopping board if you want it thinner. My pot is dry enough. So into the pot I'm going to be adding my bleached palm oil. And my vegetable oil. The reason why I'm mixing it is because I like the flavor that the mixture of the oil produces. If you do not want to mix it, you can just go ahead and use only the bleached palm oil. Into the oil now I'm going to add about half of the onions that I've sliced, and I'll leave this to get hot. Meanwhile, our beans is ready. I turned off the burner a few minutes ago and I'm just allowing it to get cold so I can blend it. This is what it looks like. So I'm just going to blend this into a puree. So my oil is hot enough. Now I'm going to add my goat meat into it and just fry it a little bit. My meat is now thoroughly fried. You can see it, you know when it's thoroughly fried when it's golden brown. I'm just going to take it all off from the fire. I'm just going to extract or remove the meat from the fire. At this point, you may want to decant some of the oil from the stew. Totally fine. So I'm just going to remove a third of it. Be very careful at this point because the oil is hot. I'm just going to remove 3 spoonfuls of oil. Buka stew is typically cooked with a lot of oil. So I'm keeping this, I'm setting this aside just because it is hot and I don't want any accidents in the kitchen. So I'm adding my remaining onion into it. I've reduced the heat so it's not bubbling as much as possible. So right now it's frying and I'm going to add my peppers into it. So now my onions are already frying. I'm going to be adding my pepper mix into the fire. At this point, do not be scared if you have excess oil. Buka stew traditionally has lots of oil. So I'll cook this on low to medium heat for about 45 minutes till it's thoroughly fried. In the meantime, I have blended my beans and I'm just going to add the ingredients to it. I have blended my Gbegiri. Added a little water because I don't want it to be thick. I like the consistency to be runny. So this is what it looks like. You can see that there are no lumps or no pieces of beans. So this is it, a smooth paste. Into this smooth paste now I'm going to be adding my palm oil. I'm going to be adding my palm oil. I'm just going to put a little bit. I'm just going to put a little bit of palm oil into it. Just to give it the traditional yellow color. I'm also going to be adding 1 tablespoon of crayfish. 1 tablespoon of crayfish. I'm going to be adding the Cameroon pepper. Then I'll add salt and bouillon. So all these are going into salt to taste. So I'm going to add a seasoning cube. Then leave this to come to a boil. While we start preparing our jute leaves, that's for the Ewedu. So into a clean pot, I'm just going to add the Ewedu into an empty pot. I've already picked my Ewedu, so I don't really need to pick it again. Into the pot, I'm just going to bring it up close here. This is quite a busy setup, but yes, this is how we are rolling. Into that pot, I'm going to add water. Not too much, not too little. Then I'm going to add my locust bean, my iru. And I'm going to bring that to the boil. So our Gbegiri is ready. People, this is what it looks like. I don't want it to be too thick, I don't want it to be too runny, so this is a perfect combination. It's a perfect consistency for me. I'm just going to turn off the heat. When I'm ready to serve, because it's best served hot, I will just turn it on again. So this is the consistency I have. And then for my Ewedu, it's already boiling. I boiled this first simply because I'm not boiling this, I'm not doing this with akam or potash. That's why I boiled it first. I'm just going to turn off the burner and then allow it to cool down a little bit before I blend it. Once I blend it, ooh la la, we are already in Oyo State, Nigeria. I can't wait to go there. This their food, the way it does me in my body. Oh God. Places that you eat Amala in Ewedu. Things like places like Amala Sky, Iyakadija, Dioyo, different places with different tastes. But this one, I'm sure it's going to beat them. It's not even I'm sure. This will beat their recipe. So our stew is already almost ready. How you know when our stew is almost ready? How you know when it is ready is once the oil has started floating on top. Amala, the oil has already started floating on top. At this point, I'm just going to add seasoning cubes. I'm going to go in with the meat, and then this should be on low heat. I'll add my seasoning cubes, going with my meat stock and my meat. Then leave it to cook again. Don't want to put too much of this. So your meat stock, it's not a must to use it in this. It's not a must to finish everything in this particular meal. You can always use meat stock later on. So you can preserve that one. I'm going in with my goat meat. Then I'll add salt. Just going to add as much as I need. So I'm not using too much of seasoning cubes. I'm using more of salt in this, my recipe. We're almost there, so I'm going to leave this to cook again. I'm going to leave it to cook again. The difference between your buka stew and your regular stews, if you notice, I didn't put curry, I didn't put thyme, I didn't put all those physical things, because this is how the buka woman will do it. Do you understand? So it's not a touched or a posh kind of stew, but believe me, the taste is different. Tell me you don't want to taste this. So while our stew was cooking, I put the water for the amala on fire and it has boiled. So I am going to proceed and make my amala. So for me, I do not mix my amala in the water or anyhow. I just pour everything, then I stir. So I'm just going to pour a generous amount of the flour, and then I would go into stirring it. This part is quite tricky, people of God. So avoid any cocoa in your amala. You need to do it thoroughly. This part cannot be underestimated. I'm just going to violently stir this till all the amala flour comes together. I'm done turning my amala, so I'm just leaving it to boil. Then I have blended I'm just leaving this to boil. Then I have blended my ewedu. This is what it looks like. Now I'm going to spice in the ewedu. So I'm going to be adding the remaining parts of my crayfish. Just add everything in. And very little egusi, grinded egusi. Just because I wanted to have that look like the buka food, or a meal from the buka. I'm going to add salt, just a pinch. So I'm going to add a cube of seasoning into my mix, just to give it taste. And I'll leave this to come to a boil, like a serious boil. When this is ready and this is thoroughly boiled, I'm done making my abula. The whole 9 yards of the Ibadan kind of food. Yes. So my abula is ready. This is a very complete and wholesome meal. It has carbohydrates, which is present in the yam flour, proteins present in the goat meat, the ogunfe, and the Gbegiri, fats and oil present in the oils we use for the frying, every other class of food is equally represented. And for the typical Ibadan person, they do not plate it separately. So you're not putting one plate of Gbegiri, one plate of Ewedu. Everything is incorporated together to give you a burst of flavors by the time you are tasting it. So join me as I taste this wholesome meal. They also do not eat it with cutlery. It is a hand kind of business. So I'm going to be going in with my hands. This is the good life.